Back to you.
All right, Patrick, thanks. Well, this morning we're starting our On the Road series. All summer long, we're going to be traveling to different local areas to learn more about all of our cities and towns in Rhode Island. And we're kicking things off today at Battleship Cove in Fall River. That's where Michaela Johnson's live for us this morning. She's kind of back in there somewhere. She's going to tell us about some of the weekend events planned. Michaela?
Here I am, that's right. We're here at Battleship Cove in Fall River, and this is such a great family place. And here with me now is Brad King, who's the Executive Director of Battleship Cove. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
My pleasure entirely. Nice to see you.
Now, if you're unfamiliar with Battleship Cove, a lot of us actually drive over it, going down 195 over the Braga Bridge every day even, but there's so much that's offered here. What can we see at Battleship Cove?
Well, the first thing to remember is if you've got your GPS on, it will tell you that you've arrived when you're still on the bridge. So you've got to find your way off the bridge. But it's an amazing collection, the largest collection of U.S. Navy preserved ships in the world anywhere. We've got the USS Massachusetts, of course, a 35,000-ton battleship. And we've got almost the complete set for a game of battleships. So we've got battleship, we've got the submarine here, the Lionfish, we've got a destroyer, the USS Joseph P. Kennedy, who incidentally was named for President Kennedy's elder brother, who was killed in the Second World War. So President Kennedy actually visited this ship often, and Robert Kennedy served on it as a seaman, of course. And we got two PT boats, fantastic wooden boats used in the war, known as 50 tons of fighting fury. I mean, they're really, really great boats. So huge collection here.
And there's so much history here. You mentioned JFK's older brother, and how did this ship, which is behind us, the USS Massachusetts, how did this one make it here?
Well, she came out of service at the end of the war in 1946, and of course, you've got to remember, at the end of the war, there's lots of ships that they need to scrap or just mothball, and she was mothballed in case there was another war. But then these battleships more or less became redundant, and they were going to scrap her. And some of the old crew got together and they said, well, this can't happen, let's bring her back to Massachusetts. And she's a flagship of the state, the Commonwealth. So they raised money, all the kids in Massachusetts put their cents in.
And they got it here. All right, and speaking of happening here, you have so many great events to honor Memorial Day this weekend. So really quickly, we want to hear about some of those that are going on.
Well, primarily, of course, on Monday, we've got a ceremony on board the Fantail here, which is quite moving. It'll be about 3/4 of an hour or so. And that'll give us just time to reflect about sacrifices that people have made and continue to make so that we can enjoy the freedoms that we've got now. We'll be firing the guns as part of that ceremony, our 5-inch guns, which incidentally will be fired by one of the veterans who knows how these guns work.
Still involved.
Still involved. We've got a great collection of vets who come on board and help us out. And we're losing 1,500 vets, Second World War vets a day in this country.
Wow.
And so what we try to do here is tell their story for them to another generation.
Well, we can't wait to hear more about it. And like we said, if you're available this Memorial Day weekend, feel free to come on down Battleship Cove in Fall River. For now, we're going to send things back over to you.